So welcome to MyWatches episode 10. I would say year-end edition. Fortunately, team couldn't be here with us today, but as usual, the show must go on, right? And you can pretty much consider Woody as a permanent guest already at this point. So yeah, more insights from him for today, right? And as usual, follow him on Watch Addict WT, right? Somewhere here. Cool. Right, and as usual, first things first, wristwatch check, right? So I think I have not revealed this yet. I don't believe so. The last time we talked about it, so it's like I got another watch, and this is it, right? The JLC Reversal Tribute Mono, and I've gone to the JLC boutique to swap it out to not swap it out to purchase a brown swap. And my friend here, he got one as well.
Back from hiatus as well.
But he did not brought it here today for whatever reason.
He's baby.
Yeah. So yeah, you see it next time. But I can promise you, he did bought it. Right? So what are you wearing today, hon?
I'm wearing the Speedy.
Yeah.
On the Uncle Seiko Mexican holster bracelet.
Yeah.
It's actually very comfortable compared to like the other Uncle Seiko ones. So
Nice.
yeah.
All right.
Highly recommended. And I think Woody is about to purchase one sometime soon as well.
That's true. Right. And back to the ones that actually got the memo to wear new watches. Alright? Yeah, Renee, up to you.
I was peer pressure.
What do you have?
So I'm wearing my 2021 Zenith Chronomaster OG. OG. It's called OG.
Is this really called OG?
Original.
Okay. Nice. Alright, and Woody.
I'm wearing the Serica 5303, the first dive watch by this micro brand, and I got it in the left hand side just to add to the quirk.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right. So as you can see, clearly Woody and Renee got the memo, and we all wear the new watches to feature to the podcast today. But yeah, hopefully Hans understands the assignment next time. But, yeah, we'll see. All right. So for today, I think to fit like the year-end theme and stuff, I think the main topic to talk about today is like what are the sort of the positive and negative for the year, what are the highlights, and what are the scandals you want to talk about, or the hoo-has you want to talk about, and all those things, right? So let's start off with you guys. What, we want to have the dessert first, or you want to have the? Let's talk about positive first, all right?
Yeah.
Let's have the dessert first, all right? So there's lots of things that happen throughout the year, lots of releases, interesting releases, controversial releases, and so on. Yeah. So anything that immediately that resonates like 2021 for you guys, what's the first thing that comes about? Greens, or the Tiffany blues, all this, like these are the consistent theming that we see occurring in 2021, right? In colors, it's been a big hit, starting with OPs, starting with the final 5711, recently the Patek and Tiffany collaboration of 170 units for a supposedly final 5711. So they pull a Ming, but yeah. So on that note, maybe we'll start with that first. Like, what are you guys pro or against the move made by Patek?
Well, I'm always going to have the controversial point of view.
Yeah.
And I've been quite open about it.
Yeah.
I think I will caveat up front that Patek actually monetarily doesn't gain anything by doing this, right? But they went out to say early in the year that they would not want to be a one watch brand by being so associated with a steel Nautilus. So they said they'll discontinue it. So that's what I think the collector community recognized, and I think most of the watch media applauded them because in a way, right, you don't want to walk the path of AP because AP is known as the Royal Company now. And a few months down the road, they do a final edition, so to speak, and they release it in green. And it's okay because it's like you give them a pass on that, right? It's like one final edition. And of course, there was the whole hoo-ha about this gentleman who was able to sell it off for like 3-4 times.
Yeah.
And completely unworn, box given and all of that. So you think that was that, the one-off. I think the entire watch media also went gaga over that. Everybody was whacking this guy for selling it. And my point of view is, why did you whack the guy who paid that price for it? But anyway, another controversial.
Let me take a pause, right? Do you guys know that the auction house actually did a screw up on that?
Oh, really?
In the certificate, they did not blur out his name.
Oh.
So the guy that actually sold that green 5711,
Yeah.
you can actually find his details.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether it's a fake name or what, I don't know, but the details was leaked out.
Yeah, but what I didn't like was a lot of the social media was whacking this guy for selling. Right? But actually, the way it works is there's a seller and there's a buyer. There's a willing seller and a willing buyer. Even if he puts it up at auction, right? Who's the fella who paid that crazy price for that watch to begin with? And the whole watch media was just whacking this one guy who put it on the market, right? And he had no rebuttal, so you have no idea what his backstory is also, right? So never mind. So that was what happened. And then came this. So you started the story by saying that you didn't want to release any more of this, and then you said you didn't want to build up any more hype. Then you release a final edition, and then you release a collaboration edition. Sounds very Ming to me. Yeah, so I don't like it, but it is what it is. It's a brilliant way for branding, for marketing, for people to put an artificial ceiling for the price. So now everyone, when you go out and see a Patek, right, you know mentally that someone has paid $6 million for a regular limited edition steel watch. And so if you happen to be one of those lucky owners that own a standard Nautilus, 1 million seems fair now. You know, it's like 6 million for a brand new one that's rare. Yours can't even be bought anymore. If you can sell it for $1 million, that's a fair price. But that's what it's done to the watch market, and I feel that's not right for a company that's family owned, not even public shareholders to take care of, right? And you go out to market and say you're not going to build to the hype, you just don't want to buy into the hype anymore, you just want to cool it down, and you do the exact opposite.
So what do you think was the motivation behind this?
I think it was an opportunity too good to pass up on by Patek to just cash in one last time from a brand cliche perspective to do it on a reasonably seen as a positive as well, because it was done for charity, right? In a way, that piece that was on auction was for charity. And it was sort of like a partnership with a brand that they went way back with as well. So I think it was too good an opportunity for them to miss out, even though they said there's no more regular editions that they're going to come up with. But it felt a bit insincere because explicitly what was told to the watch media was they didn't want to contribute to the hype anymore. And they inevitably did the exact opposite of what they set out to do. So
Well, if it was purely for charity, then they should have just did that one piece. You know what I mean?
Only
all
one,
the
yeah.
extras. Then that would sound more fair. So I'm a bit confused.
But to me, my assumption is, because I'm not sure you guys know, Tiffany just recently got acquired by LVMH.
Yes.
Right. And explicitly on the case back, you can see an LVMH logo and stuff like that. Right? So I think if I were to make my assumption, this move was initiated by Tiffany. Right, I mean, it's time to really get it out there. It's like, this is where LVMH is taking their stand, right? It's like, I'm getting it out, I'm going with a bang. Who else will go with a bang with Patek? And like I say, once the opportunity is presented to Patek, they say, like, all right, they probably look at the PR guys and say, hey, what are the worst repercussions? People are probably going to make noise, but realistically, 6 months from now, it's Patek still going to sell? Yeah. It's the sad truth, right?
But do they actually need this? You know, the brand name is already there, and they're not selling it at a higher price or anything. So I'm trying to think what do we really get out of this?
It makes the brand I'm not saying image, the brand status even higher. So that's how I think it's the same thing like Supreme and all those things. If you look at it, there's many other models that sort of replicate this kind of stuff, right? It's for people that wants this. It's sometimes it's not only the brand, it's not only the limited quantity. It's sometimes they correlate their wants and everything with the price it is. the higher the price it is, the more satisfied that they will feel that they got it. It's like, I got this $6 million dollars piece, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what they got out of it, lah.
Do you think this is the end of it?
They better be.
One last hurrah and then another last hurrah.
I think they have used their remaining chances already, lah. Right? I mean, if they do continue on with any more releases, it probably will not sit right.
They can say that Patek has had a history of doing this as well. I think in the early days of the Nautilus, I think they did the same thing where they had this last run, right? And then a year after that, they re-released it with a whole new movement and all that, but it was exactly the same watch design. So it is not beyond them to repeat this. So, and actually, in the early days when when they made the first announcement that they were discontinuing it, a lot of people were just saying that it's going to disappear for 1 or 2 years, but it's going to make a comeback later with a new movement and whatever else. Right? So I actually see a Nautilus coming back in some way or form, but probably not in the way or form that we know it.
Okay.
And anyway, they're still selling Nautiluses with the complications as it stands. They've even discontinued that. So I think you just have to wait it out. There's probably going to be something coming.
I think if there's enough design cue changes or at least something to show that you're driving the brand forward in a different way, I think that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they call it a Nautilus, but if there's enough design cue changes or show that you're trying to do something different,
I guess
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I guess, but then it sort of deviates from the first point of not wanting to sell Nautilus, right? They want to sell all their complication watches, right? Which is all their perpetual calendars and moon phase or whatever, and this will not lead them to that path if they continue to sell watches like this.
So if you were to take a wager, right, how long do you think they'll wait up before the next Nautilus? I mean, the next date time only Nautilus. How much time do you think you will?
I think 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
1 year maybe.
I'm actually more with you on that one.
Yeah.
I think they can't hold off. I think it's like one quiet year.
I think so.
Maybe a year and a half. So I said 2023. That means you won't see anything in 2022. Maybe 2023. Yeah, they probably will release something. I don't think they can hold off.
All right.
Fair enough. Alright, only time will tell, I guess. Yeah. But talking about Nautilus, just want to get you guys a sense on it, right? What do you guys think of it, objectively, without looking at the price and everything like that? Is it something, on a first glance, you would want to wear? To me, I would say no. I don't resonate with the design. If you give it to me, and I cannot sell it, I would choose another watch instead.
I mean, if you're able to.
Even-
Someone offer you with
Yeah,
a
but I
price.
cannot sell.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you cannot sell.
But I cannot sell. I would ask for something
So
else.
price aside, right?
Price
Yeah,
aside.
price aside.
Yeah, price aside. Do you find the watch aesthetically speaking to you?
I mean, from photos, I haven't seen it.
Yes.
Yeah.
From
Yeah, me
photos,
neither.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Okay.
appeals to me.
Oh, really?
Because of this integrated.
Really?
Because
Okay.
I have a soft spot for this Genta
Right.
timepieces,
Okay.
right? So
Ah.
at least for me, it's
Okay.
it appeals
Fair
to me.
enough. Fair enough.
But of course, it's a different story. Once I tried it,
Mm.
how it looks like, how you said,
Fair.
when you tried the Pateks and the real,
Mhm.
so you said it didn't really impress you, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What about you, Han?
No, the design never really spoke to me, so that's that lah. And I think that's a good thing.
To me, to me, it just feels like a very uncle watch. I don't see anything sleek, modern or nice about it. I'm sorry, but and I feel that, okay, controversial or not, I don't know, but I feel that 80-90% of people who buy it doesn't care about the design at all. They just want it because it's a Nautilus, and just because it is, right?
I've never really liked it myself, but I'm contrarian, so if you ask me if it was a watch on those conditions from Patek, I'm actually more inclined towards one of their perpetual calendars, the more vintage looking ones. I think those were really designed beautifully, but nothing from them. And if I were to pick something from a Genta design, I'm not even a fan of the Royal Oak so much. I can recognize that it's done really well. I would actually pick the watch that's actually not Genta design, but always confused for being Genta design, which is the Vacheron 222. I actually really like that 222.
Okay.
The 222 is a very interesting watch. That's people confused that it was done by Genta. It was never done by them, but it was done at the era when all of this came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think price aside, yeah, if you put me in a Patek store and ask me to choose a watch, I probably will not choose the Nautilus.
If you give me two choices right now, a Nautilus or Calatrava immediately.
Yeah.
Calatrava.
And I wonder if if you live in a world where there's no hype or anything about this, and you just put people in the store, will they really buy the Nautilus?
You do a focus group with someone that doesn't know about watches.
Nothing about watches.
Yes. Yeah. Right, that's what I'm interested to know as well.
Yeah.
I might even get the weekly calendar, the one that they release in steel. I felt there's a charm to that one also.
Fair enough.
But yeah, not the Nautilus.
Yeah. The only sports model that I could accept is the Aquanaut Wartimer. Right, that one, it's I don't know, something about that, especially after trying it in person, is actually pretty interesting. And the clicks to adjust the hour hand and everything, it's two buttons. I'm not sure you guys know about it. So it's like it functions like a GMT, but instead of twisting, it's button. So immediately when you travel, let's say you go to like Japan or 1 hour, you just press and it goes 1 hour. You press down, it reduces 1 hour. That quickly, right?
Okay, I didn't know that.
So it's very intuitive, and then it has that night and day feature, and then it's so normally there's two hands, right? So the transparent hand and the main hand. The main hand works with the clickers, right? So you normally set it both at your current time now. So when you travel, you move that time to like +1 or -1, and the transparent hand remains at your own time, right? So it's that design is actually quite
very intuitive. Actually.
Yeah. Super intuitive. To me that is I would sort of put that as a you can maybe call it an improved GMT with I would call it that lah. It's very nice. If I can get one.
Maybe.
And that's like innovative design, right? So that's
functional design for that.
Exactly. So I think if the brands do something like that and move the brand forward and do interesting things like that, I think it's really good for the brand.
That begs another question though. How many of the buyers actually gives a fuck about it? It's like only the ones like us is probably the 1%, if you look at it. Yeah.
That's true.
And most of the people just care about the brand.
And
Right?
Is that largely due to the fact that we have a lot of technology in today's world?
Yeah, it is. I mean, to be honest, for example, let's put it in a way. I think not using it is okay, but not appreciating it is a different thing, right? For example, all of us has chronograph. We don't use it, but we understand it. I mean, you do sometimes, right? You do sometimes as well. But okay, I can confess I don't, right? But at least I appreciate where it came from, why it works, and how it works, and so on. But if you ask most people, if you ask people who own Daytonas and so on, they probably don't even know what it does. Right.
It's probably too much trouble to unscrew.
Right, so I think that is it's quite sad lah. I just hope that at least people needs to appreciate where this is coming from, why it used it, and so on.
But do you guys think that's the reason why watch brands don't innovate as much? Because
Probably.
the things that you innovate on will probably be just at the whim of you just open your phone and time changes when you land in a new country.
I think the trouble with not the innovation aspect is also, even when they do, it doesn't commercially sell.
Yeah.
And so that reinforces that it's not required. So for example, like just use a classic case of a Rolex. I think their most complicated watch is the Sky Dweller, right? But everybody's buying standard Oyster Perpetuals in candy coloured dust, right? That was innovation in paint versus one which is arguably a very amazing piece of innovation of an entire calendar there, right? On a watch that still looks dressy and all of that, but no one really cares. It's I want to be seen with a Tiffany blue Rolex OP or a pink one, and when the buyers vote with their wallet and that's what sells out. If you run the brand, that's what you produce. You produce what sells.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but innovation doesn't seem to sell at the moment.
And I mean, at the end of the day, they are running a business now, right? So we can't exactly fault them too much. But as a watch enthusiast, we can hope things change somehow. I don't know how, but we can hope, at least.
But I have to say that it sounds all negative, but there's one thing that I was reflecting, the question about what would a good thing about this year, right? I don't know about you guys, even in our previous podcast, we actually lost track of when certain watches came out, and we then realized that everything was this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, just now when you talk about the OP, I was like thinking, was that this year?
Yeah. Was it this year?
Is it not this year?
The
I have a feeling it's not, but because the year started with the Speedy. The first week of January was the 3861.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think the OPs came out
so late last year.
late last year, right? Was it this year?
Yeah, I think.
But then I mean, the sub was this year, right?
Sub was this year.
If some was this year, then
then
OP was this year.
it's the
It's
same
this
time.
year. It has to be
Same time.
because
Yeah,
like
it's the
what else does Rolex release?
Yeah, actually that's true.
Yeah.
So everything was this year. So
Yeah.
actually we've been, it's almost like there was pent up models by all the brands, right? And for the pandemic year, and everything came out this year. That as watch enthusiasts, you have to admit it was quite a interesting year because we got so many things coming out. So we had all of that. We've
So
got
many things that we couldn't buy.
things we could buy as well.
Yeah.
But I think every brand had a lot to release this year. I mean, Omega went with that, the 3861, they did the Chronoscope, they did the new Seamaster 300, and they did it at different times of the day. It used to be clumped at one event like Barcelona or whatever, right? But now it's like the whole year there was something. So as watch enthusiasts, actually it's been very entertaining. It's like, and that's probably one of the reasons why our friend over here couldn't resist himself also, right? It's like new stuff. It's like, oh my god, it's so interesting.
I think probably we'll talk about that as well. Watch journey in 2021. That's another a whole bunch of sector to cover.
And I felt I was never bored this year. I think there was almost something every month that came out. Be it from a micro brand, be it from a big brand. And I think the other thing that was nice was because of all the hype, I think certain watch media, I think shout out to folks like Fratello, right? They're actually making a very conscious effort to highlight other stuff this year already. And because of that coverage, you suddenly, as a watch enthusiast, you get introduced to stuff you normally don't see. So they're introducing all kinds of micro brands. They're trying to tell you about the old Seikos and all of that, right? It's all this year as well. So it's been very entertaining as a watch enthusiast. It was never dull. I think it was all year round.
So then the next question, right? What do you think it's better, right? Because all of this stands from hype, right? And the hype causes the price to go up, causes the grey market to go up and stuff. So can you argue in that fact that this hype is good for the watch industry, the watch enthusiasts? It's a double-edged sword, right? Or does the hype bad? Without the hype, do you think the likes of the Rolex, Omega, and everybody, the brands would put up this amount of effort that they did for 2021? Right. That's an interesting point to apply.
I think I'll go without the hype.
Without hype.
Yeah, I think I'll go without the hype and keep the hobby niche and keep it to the niche group and so because I don't see the upside of the hype. It spurred more price hikes on the well-known brands, so I don't see how it benefits us.
So that's the thing, right? It's a question that I have in a lot of my other hobbies as well, right? Keyboards, vinyl, and everything. So there's always two sides of the story. So for example, if I take vinyl, for example, without the hype of vinyl, records, the prices of records that was not repressed and so on will continue to be high. Right. But with the hype of vinyl, you will get many different repressors and what's that called, the quality depreciate and so on. So there's always two sides of things. You get a positive and a negative side and stuff like that. So and you can say that without all this hype, certain vinyl press factory will no longer cease to exist because there's not enough. The enthusiast alone is not enough to sustain all this, right? So in the watch world, is there an equivalent story of this, right? Because if Rolex and stuff will probably still survive, right? Micro brands and so on, they benefited from all this as well, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah. So depends how you look at it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think there's a valid argument to be said about that. I think without that vacuum that was created by the hype, there will be less attention on the smaller brands, which would then mean that they will probably not have been able to sell anyway. I think there is a case to be made, and so I think the downside of hype is not so much that it shines a light on the industry and therefore brings more people into the hobby. I think ultimately it's about some sort of an equilibrium that we're kind of looking for that seems to be an impossibility at the moment, where as an enthusiast, you know why you want to get something and you're priced out of it, whereas someone who has no appreciation for it, then to your point, the no appreciation is buying it now, and all of that, and we are then looking at these other brands that are trying to fill up that gap, right? That's where the micro brand space is. I don't know. I think
but to the regular collectors, I mean, like new to the hobby, I mean, if the hype of all these like Rolexes continue to go up, does it actually translate to more people? There'll be more people wanting to know more about watches, but does that necessarily drive them towards the micro brands? Because they will still just look at the Rolex, right?
No, it's the likes of us, like the likes of us will deviate and give up on Rolex and give up on all this because of all those prices, and we'll look into micro brands, right? So it's in the way, it spawns a whole new segment within the watch industry, right? Whether it's a good or bad thing, I'm 50-50 on it, to be honest. Right.
It's a fair point. I only think the argument will become in full when the micro brands start pricing themselves at the level where the main brands are. I think
there's a cycle.
There's a cycle that will go.
There's new micro brands.
So I think at the moment, like the place where I like to operate is at prices where you can't get an equivalent from a design or innovation perspective, right, from any big brand, right? And you can find them in the micro brands, and it takes some searching because it's not so easy to find those, right? A lot more homages and all of that. So, and it takes a certain type of enthusiast to even want to get that. And I don't think a part of me maybe ideologically feels that if you're into this hobby enough, you would have gotten those anyway because they were priced so much lower. That you don't think about it like you would, let's say, like a Zenith that you have to spend like 20k for, right? 20-30k for, or a Omega you have to spend that amount of money, and this is like a quarter of it, and you go like, actually, I don't mind, it's fun, it looks cool. So I feel the enthusiast space and the micro brand space has this synergy that exists, that the hype itself just made us look at them a bit more. But I think it would have a symbiotic sort of relationship there anyway. It's just that it's all creeping up. So I think it will become a problem. Like right now, it's not. Maybe it's in this strange equilibrium, right? But I think in 1 year's time, let's say, right, and all the micro brands start moving prices up to the point where you start to wonder, is this still going to be worth buying or not, right? I think that's going to be an unsustainable problem to be had. So that's the reality. I think to your point as well, if you had the choice, if you're not into watches, right, you're not going to buy what I'm wearing right now. Because like, what is this, right? I've never heard of it, and if I wear it, there's no status involved in it, there's no value retention. So I don't think, I don't know. It's a very valid point though, that there is some level of appreciation of other brands now because of the unobtainium of the major brands. But whether that would drive the spending of money, I think that's a very difficult nuance to I'm not sure. I think to maybe like those of us around the table, it probably would make us look more there, but we are a minority. We're a very small minority of the enthusiast group.
And it doesn't push that much more, right? You know what I mean? Like the hype is making the price go up like crazy. It drives us to look at all these other brands more, but not that much more. And we would have looked at them anyway.
And we looked at them anyway, and we would decide, is it worth the money? And we make our decisions there. So it's a tough one. I think it makes us look a bit more. Maybe it's the tipping point. You know, it's like you're there, and then it's like, heck it, you know, I can't even get what I want anyway, so I'm gonna get this one. So there is an argument for the tipping point.
I mean, like, so the next thing we talk about, what do you think the outlook of watches will look like, right? Do you think all this will continue to happen? The grey market will continue to go up and so on. What are your thoughts on that? The theme of colors, do they continue? Green, Tiffany blue.
Green.
What is the next color?
What's the new green?
What's the new green? Right.
So I think it's actually not going to cool. If you reflect, I actually have an inflection point that I point to about where all this started, and it was oral bags at the Phillips watch auction, Paul Newman Daytona. That's what created a wave of interest in a segment of the market that was initially niche, and suddenly everybody's looking for Rolexes hiding in sofas and all of that, right? This recent Patek is another line in the sand where it shows you the hype is really there, it's heating up still. I think 2022 is just going to ride a lot more into brands trying to figure out, okay, how do I create that hype for my brand? And so they're going to ride on anything hot. So I won't be surprised if we see a few more Tiffany blue watches from brands next year, just to ride on this hype temporarily, right? Because that is just so hot at the moment. Like that's probably the most expensive OP that you can get on the grey market.
Yes. Yep.
Patek just sold for 6 million. So technically, if AP does one like that, it might sell out.
Probably.
Yeah.
So if AP you're looking for a marketing team, four of us here can easily do the job, right?
But you want to do it fast, so that it's get it out
relevant.
Before everyone says that you are just following and all of that. So
it's kind of a shame.
It's a kind of shame.
Hot and lazy.
Yeah,
going hand in hand. It's not what you want to hear as a hobbyist, right? You know.
So I mean, but then again, right? It is always easy to judge from this end and always easy to pinpoint and so on. But as a brand, what do you expect them to do?
You want to do what sells. So I can't blame them for it. So I'm hoping that they do that and something else. It's a bit like I'm going to do this to feed the hype, right? But I'm going to do this for the enthusiasts. But I'm going to do this for the people that know what I'm trying to do. And the thing about what I realize the likes of Patek do is actually they do that. And they're very clever about doing that. So even for all the accusations I'll throw about them doing the Tiffany blue one, right? Quietly, they're doing things like, releasing more complicated watches on the side, doing an RD2, stuff like that. It's like all, like AP is doing that as well, like much thinner watches. They're doing that for a different group of people, but they are always going to push that one thing that the hype market will snap on. So it's whether or not they're going to do both. I think as businesses, you kind of have to ride the hype. Because you want to build a war chest of cash, right? Revenue. So you're going to ride it as hard as you can. But what sends the signal to the rest is I'm still going to push R&D forward and I'm going to do that. So that will be what I'm looking forward to.
So do you think that in a way the grey dealers, do they play a big part in this? And in a way that them, or this is what we think, or I think at least, with the grey dealer acquiring certain watches on the back end deal and so on, how does this play a part? Does this even make the hype even worse? Or does this even ruin the in a way, other people's fair chance in getting it? How does this play a part? At least in the Asia region, that we can see that we are very likely confirmed that there's a lot of shady back end deals going on and so on. Right.
It's basically an ecosystem, right? So you need both parties to play ball, and then it happens. So right now, both parties are playing ball. I think we kind of spoke about this in previous episodes as well. When the brand makes a stand and makes sure that they do it right, then this will all go away. But as of now, the grey market is not going away.
So so with the grey market not going away, then feeding the hype and everything, and if you go the other way around, what do you think the outcome would be? Say Rolex come in and says like, all right, I'm clamping down on your AD license. If I see any back end deals going on, I would remove your license. If I see one person with the same ID buying multiple instances of the same model, I will remove your AD license. What world are we looking at? Do we see a price drop? Do we see it?
I actually don't see a price drop. I actually don't even. I think I've mellowed my stance on grey sellers because I feel they are just like you correctly pointed. It's part of the ecosystem. Right? They are there because there's an opportunity for money to be made. So and because the brands are not making that money, they rather make it while the supply and demand is there. And as long as the demand is there, the supply will eventually feed in. So your question is about what if the brand gets involved in controlling supply, which is what we kind of want them to do. I think what's going to happen is the price is not going to come down, but rather it's actually going to go up, but it's controlled by the brand itself, meaning the brand will raise the prices themselves. Because, I mean, if you run a business, right, and you produce something, let's say this is worth, you sell it for $100 and someone else is selling it for $200, right? At some point you will say that, can I just make 150 out of this instead of 200?
Exactly.
And so the price, I don't think will come down so much. It's actually still seeking for equilibrium, a price equilibrium. And so I think it's more like how greedy will the brands want to be in taking money from the market.
So to me, right, I'm looking at this in a way that because to me, I am very open about this. Like I am okay with grey dealers, right? I'm okay with flippers and so on, because it's like you mentioned, willing buyer, willing seller, and it is you own the product, you have every right to do so. But my issue with it is the lack of transparency between acquiring such product. What are your criteria to get so? And some people were able to bypass that, right? So for me, it's looking at fair chances, and with fair chances happen, my sense is, or my take is, the price will taper down or will maintain or will not go up that high, because like if I were to throw in a number, I would say in Southeast Asia at least, right, probably like maybe 50% of the stock allocation that's going around, it's directly done back end deal without a public, without even me happening. But if customers buy it from Rolex and then sell it to a grey dealer, that has every right to do so, and so does Rolex has every right to ban that person. So I think that is fair, right? But what's not fair is that that bypassing of it, that is tricky, right?
Yeah, I rather live in a world where Rolex ups their prices and lets people get it fairly, right? So like first come first serve. I mean, you can have a wait list if you say that.
You can even have an interest list, but you say that alright, this person spends more than you, I give it to that person, but you cannot buy multiple model of the same watch and so on. That is also okay, because if the demand is so high, I don't see how else they can allocate this properly, lah. Right.
Yeah, it's just a lack of transparency, right? You go into a Rolex store and you even feel shy to ask. I think that's wrong. You don't even feel like a customer.
It's like
you feel ashamed to ask.
Excuse me? You want a sub? Are you really asking me for a sub?
Like, were you born yesterday?
It's like you shouldn't even ask.
It shouldn't be like that, right? I mean,
it shouldn't be like that.
For everything that Rolex is,
But then again, if you play it the other way around, why it comes to this sense as well is because like more of the Western country, they if there is transparency, you're gonna have another problem as well, right? Because it's like it's like I am a willing buyer. It's like you need to sell me my product and you need to have a fair wait list and so on like that. That's why I think a lot of ADs are choosing to be anonymous or to be ambiguous to avoid all this customer complaint as well. So they are actually in a very, very tough spot. If I were to, I thought about this a lot of time, and if I were Rolex, I honestly would have a very, very difficult time solving this, to be honest.
I think there's one solution that I never thought of before, right? But I think because immersing in the technology is a little bit more. The whole idea of NFTs might actually be a solution for the future, because what you're going to be able to do is just trace who owned the watch for a period of time and where that ownership went to, right? And it's not a difficult thing for these big brands to do. Ultimately, you're just saying, where is it going? And it's okay to let it be, but ultimately, because NFTs allow that level of transparency, and it's the market transparency anyway, so even if the trading happens, right, it's just who that transfers to.
It's just a log.
It's just a log, and I think that may be the answer that helps finds us a bit more parity in the market, because you're just having an open log of what transactions happen.
That's true. That's true.
In the past, I think it was privacy laws and all of that, right? But I think if people embrace the idea that this is really just an uneditable log of where it came from, who owned it, and things like that, you will find the serial flippers almost immediately just doing that.
Definitely, you will see that this grey dealer A has like 20 submariners and so on.
From Mr. Rene, for example.
And then tomorrow he has none. And then the next day it's
Which is a very good idea, right? So if Rolex, if you're listening,
we told you should hire us.
Oh man!
I'll do the marketing one because that's the easiest.
All right. So I think let's dive in a bit and let's go to the next topic. Let's talk about the watch journey, right? What are your like your your achievement or something that you highlight for the year of 2020? What are you proud of? 2021, sorry. 2021, yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. For me, I'm not sure if it's something to be proud of, but yeah, it's spending.
It is.
It's spending a lot. Yeah,
it's something you're proud of, right?
It's a milestone.
It's a reward. Yeah.
Well, for me, nothing much happened in the year, and then it kind of felt like everything got pent up, and then just at the end, right? Yeah. So just like was it 2 weeks? Yeah, it's just about 2 weeks ago that I also got the JLC Small Seconds tribute in blue. Yeah, and what sealed my fate was the mistake of seeing it in person, because I've seen it in pictures, and I think over the past episodes when they released it, I said like, hey, it's a really nice watch, and I always wanted a reversal, but you know there were a few things that I was worried that would not fit me for the watch, and when I saw it in person, after James got his, pretty much within the next 2 days, I went and ordered my own. So that was interesting, and yeah, I mean definitely a milestone, and yeah, to kind of I'll use the excuse of celebrating a new job.
And not to mention, right? It's a very the rest of us has given him a very strategic use case to buy it, because if he did not, JLC would have increased the price by like 10% or so in 1st of January. So you save money and you're welcome.
And, and that's I mean, I'd be lying if say that was not one of the driving factors. And yeah, so for all you guys listening out there, still a few more days left in
the year for you to put it on.
Yeah, and apparently, at least in Malaysia, this somehow would maybe be a boutique only colorway.
Yeah. So entire tribute line will go to boutique only.
So
I guess, I don't know.
You've heard it here first.
Yeah.
If it comes true.
Yeah. If it doesn't,
we're not responsible.
And for those of you who like the watch but never seen it in person, I urge you to go see it in person.
Definitely.
Because what we found is that you know, you can snap a lot of pictures of it. The color just doesn't come out right, and it doesn't do justice to what it is.
And I have to say that applies to all the reversal small second tribute. Be it the green, be it the blue, be it the burgundy. You actually just have to see it in person, because the color changes under different light, and you will find a tone that will really appeal to you. So even the one that both of them have, all the pictures will reveal a tinge of purple. I assure you, in sunlight and under these sort of white lights, right, it turns, I think your words was almost an electric dark blue, right? And you see no hint of purple whatsoever. It's amazing that you have a watch that has like chameleon-like behavior.
And if I can summarize it in one sentence, I say it's a dial that never looked the same twice.
Sick.
Yeah.
All right. Renee and Woody, I'll take last, right? Because I think mine is a lot. I have a lot of so I'll take last, right? Yeah.
Wait, what watch is showing in 2021? You're asking me what watch is showing?
Yeah, I mean, what's your highlight? What?
What's my highlight? I only bought one watch, by the way.
And it was an impulse purchase as well.
Because 2021, I was like focusing on, I'm trying to collect some guitars for myself, so I didn't really want to spend on
John Mayer
watches.
guitars?
John Mayer. And then last minute, I think it was triggered by both of you. You know? I think that was two episodes ago.
It was the Infinity War.
And then you triggered me. Three of you guys triggered me.
Because we were talking about, long story short, we were talking about the inevitable reduction of discounts and inevitable price hikes.
Just before that, even before that.
Oh really?
I forgot what was our topic at that time. And I mean, I think we briefly discussed about this Zenith Chronomaster El Primero for 2021 and the Zayton as well. We briefly discussed it, and I did more researches about it, and I've seen a lot of Instagram posts until I decided I like this. Because I like it. No, because I like the fit of Woody's watch.
Yeah. But you always like the design.
I always liked the El Primero design.
And the day you met me, so you already said that you liked it. So it was not something new.
It's not something new. But I'm just waiting for a used watch because I don't want to spend so much for a brand new.
Yeah. So how much of it do you think was associated with the impending price hike that drove you to buy it?
50%.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Quite half, right? So I mean, I know I really wanted. I just needed someone to push me.
Oh yeah, we pushed you hard.
I mean, I'll be lying if I say it wasn't the same for me as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it is a good price, thinking about what might happen come January 1st, and then.
Yeah.
But so the next one, do you regret it?
No.
Or, yeah, exactly.
Not for a
Right.
second.
Right. I mean,
Not
but if
for a
you
second.
do, feel free to say as well, so we know what to do.
No,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
I don't regret it at all. I haven't seen his watch in person before I bought it. I saw the reverse panda one,
Yeah.
but this is the classic
Yeah.
design, right?
Mhm.
The tricolor design. So
So even when you ordered it, you didn't get to see it in person?
no.
Wow, that's a real leap of faith then.
But that's why.
But I saw a lot of videos of it, and I saw
Yeah.
how it fits
Mm.
other YouTubers with small wrists.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah.
it will fit me as well.
Which is, I think, where we also mentioned in the last episode, viewing the watches beforehand has somehow become a luxury.
Yeah,
This one,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
it's
it is.
very difficult to do so. That's why, like, the likes of Han would have to come to my place
Yeah.
to look at the watch that I buy before making
Yeah.
his decision.
Yeah.
Right, which is, if anything that I would like the brand to change is please have more display model.
Yeah.
You don't have to sell it, but let someone try it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my watches, GMT, the ceramic and stuff, I was just fortunate enough to view it beforehand because my dealer allows me to view someone's watches that was pre-allocated. Without for that, I probably would not.
Even this is not in the GLC boutique.
Not the blue.
Or even the blue is not available.
I saw the green only. But I saw the blue in
Dual
the
face.
dual face in Hourglass.
But the green is not. It's just for display, right? They don't sell it. Or
No, they don't sell it. Just for display. Right.
So at least you can see the green ones. Right?
Yeah. I think that's a very good point to segue into mine, because I just, on that point, I just reflected 3 watches that I bought this year. I bought all 3 sight unseen. So it was that electric green G-Shock. I committed to it by just looking at the pictures, looking at the measurements and all of that. The Seiko Alpinist limited edition, I committed to the dealer that I'd be serious about it without actually seeing it as well. And even this one, because this one is a micro brand that was releasing it, right? You no way to
There's
get
no
it.
way,
No way to get it. So all 3 of them I actually went sight unseen, which is a very difficult decision to make. You take a chance, it might actually backfire. And I won't advise it on anybody else. In fact, if you have a chance, although it's a luxury, you should aim to try and at least get hands-on with it, be it through somebody or a dealer or a gracer.
But your Seiko LEs wouldn't backfire though. Let's say if you didn't like it,
I guess
you could always sell it.
I guess.
So I took a leap of faith for all 3 watches. I don't regret any of them in that sense. But it's a risk that you have to take, and it's a very good point. So I think in my own journey, I think it has the way the watch world has become, and I think in a way I also feel I've got way too many, right? So you're starting to look for unique pieces already, like something like that will complement or is different enough in the collection that on one fine day when you're feeling a different mood, you pick it up. So everything that I picked up this year was a bit of that. I actually committed to this watch first, and this I thought would be the bookend of the year. And famous last words, I said that, and I think was the day right after that was announced. The Seiko Alpinist was announced.
The Ginza.
Yeah, the Ginza was announced, and I'm like, oh crap, I have to eat my words immediately. Right after that, so I dare not say it again. That this will be the end of it.
So 2 more weeks left.
Yeah, there's 2 more weeks left. What I now say, and so this is how I've decided to word moving forward what it will mean, right? Is I'm making a slow exit, temporary exit out of the watch world, meaning I'm still going to enjoy looking at watches, looking at experiencing all of it, but the purchasing may taper already. Until I make it a point, I think James and I have this problem, right? Make it a point that you look at the collection, it's like, okay, I can sell this now. It's really hard.
Yes. Yes.
No,
Yeah, so
I can never sell any of my watches.
yeah, so I think until that point it's going to be very difficult. But yeah, that's been my journey. I've been looking for unique things, which is why I went crazy green with a G-Shock, with a modern screen. Completely left-handed for this piece. Like a nearly Grand Seiko-esque type of dial design for something else. So just looking for interesting stuff that may not be too out there. It's just operating on the borderline of mainstream, but not too far out there. So that's been mine for 2021.
But to talk about a point, that's like when you talk about, say, you don't really lose out on the Ginza, but the thing is, your you lose out on time and opportunity. Because during the course when you committed to the Ginza and another watch may release and you decide to let that go, that watch may actually be the better one of it. So the opportunity cost is there, right? So I don't know. If I can, with VR or AR or something like that, if they can make it very, very accurate, that may be a solution. But you still can't feel and stuff, which is different, but it's something.
You still probably wouldn't get that blue, right?
Yeah, probably won't.
Somehow.
Probably won't. Yeah. So I don't know, that they really need more display watches. Or just give a watches without movement, right?
I think you have that on Photo 24, right? That overlay.
Oh really?
Yeah, but it doesn't feel quite right. I think no matter what, it just doesn't feel like no matter how they've done that, right? They would never have shown you what you saw.
Exactly.
But let me not take it. The main star of this particular question is really James.
So you got the second half of the episode right here.
Yeah, that's the main event right here.
So I will sum it up in one word: is crazy or insane. Like how my watch journey has been for 2021, right? Well, it's also fortunate that I was how to say transition. I mean, in the point of my career, there is a stable, or a point of career that I can have extra spending on these luxury purchases and so on, and things just got out of hand, right? And why it got out of hand is also due to my own fault, that I am very FOMO, right? Like, because of all certain things that comes out, and with how the industry is right now, if you don't pounce on certain opportunity, you missed it out, right? So to me, it's like, I've been thinking like looking at Renee as well, how much things you've missed out. That is one of the motivation to buy stuff, right? So, right. So to me, it's like, if anything I see, right, if anything I see, the lesson learned is, if you have the capability, you buy first and think later. Right, that's at least for me, that's
what
how
if the bubble bursts, right?
Oh, then you have to live with it, right? That's the
risk,
calculated risk that
this is not financial advice, guys.
Not sound financial advice anyway.
Yeah, not sound. I mean, the hobby itself is not a sound financial advice to begin with, right?
So it's like, it started out with like the Tudor, the Chrono, right? The Black Bay Chrono, which came out with like a very nice, to me I said it was a very nice neo vintage kind of vibe and everything, right? It's pretty unique. And it's not a carbon copy of like a Daytona. It stands out on its own, right? So I got that. Next thing you know, 1 week later, the ceramic release. I was like, oh man, you gotta put a gap on your release date, guys. Like, that's way too fast.
That's 1 week.
Yeah, it's 1 week. Literally, it's 1 week after our podcast. I immediately know. That's like I was telling Han. I remember I was telling Han and Woody. It's like, I don't know. It's like I always wanted an all black watch, right? I wanted, like, if I would say like if the Seamaster Professional 300 ceramic was all black. I mean, it was smaller. If it was not 43mm, I probably would have gotten it, right? Because I really wanted an all black watch. So I was like, I don't know, but the Metas was quite nice and everything. Then I just went and look at it, and it's like, like you say, it's a mistake. It's
basically, Tudor was testing how deep your pockets were.
I look at it,
and it's in fact deep.
Yeah, and when I look at it, it's like that ceramic bezel was just unique, right? Typically, you see either a Pelagos type of ceramic, which is like muted, or a Rolex kind of ceramic, which is super really glossy. And this is like
right in between.
It's right in between, and one thing I noticed in this year, I really like things that has light play in it. The ceramic is one of it. Right, sunburst, the ceramic, even the Chrono, it all has very nice light play into it.
Which going back to what we were talking about before, can only really be appreciated
in person. Yeah, the pictures don't do it justice at all.
Exactly. So if you have not seen the ceramic in person as well, go see it. Right. It's just like, I mean, a lot is love at first sight, and I have seen both ceramic and the Chrono, and I look, it's like I'm just gonna buy it first, and I'll see how it goes. So that happened, and then the Ming happened. Ming 1709. Ming 1709 is together with the Chrono, I believe.
Yeah, that's on plan, right?
Yeah.
You
Oh, yeah, it was a plan for you as well. Yeah.
You just thought about it for 5 minutes and you just bought it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that was influenced by me too, by the way. Yeah.
We were all together when the transition happened actually.
Yeah. So
I don't regret it. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. So when Ming happens, it was the first Ming that has a time limited. I've gotten 2 Mings before, the diver and another one I can't remember, and I didn't manage to get it because they were all limited. And to me, it's like it fits the collection at that point of time.
So those were first come first serve.
Previously it was all first come first serve.
limited number.
Yeah. And then to me, I needed a blue dial. I don't need it. I want a blue dial. And having a Ming in the collection fulfills the purpose of having a legit Malaysian brand in the collection.
Yep.
So to me, it's like same thing. If I miss this opportunity, I can't get it again. Right. So bye. Then I say, Chrono released again. It's like, and the same thing I remember in the podcast that we talk about as well. I say I always wanted a Chrono.
Yeah.
Right. Because to me, I'm very biased with all things Japan.
It's almost like you're living in a simulation.
Right.
Like the Matrix,
I was like, shit, one after another. It's like, I literally got overwhelmed. It's like, oh my god,
wow.
this, everybody's putting me in the left, right direction. It's like, shit.
Now that you're saying it like that, it's either the world is like just so coincidental, or you're just gonna buy anything anyway.
So and to me, you can say like a little bit kiasu lah, right? At that point, it's like, shit. I don't want to deal with the thought that 2 years later I'll regret not getting this. So I was like, buy already. Also,
I was pretty close on the Chrono as well. I would have to say I was on the fence. Maybe it wasn't for the Ming. Maybe if I didn't bought the Ming, I would have bought the Chrono. Maybe.
But he doesn't regret it. That's the key.
And I did try to get the Tiffany blue, the Tiffany blue Chrono. I did try to get that one, but
so after the Chrono, and to be honest, if I were to look back on all of this, the Chrono and the ceramic was my highlight purchase. Right, to me, the ceramic was the watch. Currently, it beats the GMT AD as in the watch that got the most wrist time for me. The strap could be better, but that's my personal preference. I don't like rubber, right? And the Chrono was a eye-opening experience. Right.
Unboxing
Unboxing, and to me it's like it's sort of in a way the catalyst that made me if you follow the channel, it's the one that kickstarted on the frequent posting on it every week. It's the one that really kickstarted it and really in a way the push for me to put more content out there and so on. And greatly it was also recognized by Mr. Hajime, Asoka. I hope I don't pronounce the name wrongly.
Asoka.
But I recognize that, and I'm officially one of the Chrono contributor for 2022, right? Which I will be getting the Chrono Grand Hakane, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So there you go. This is supposed to be the large watch, and I got that. And on top of that, you can say that I'm either very fortunate or unfortunate. AP Malaysia called me, and they offered me a Royal Oak chronograph in grey, 38mm. So, I mean, who in the right mind would pass on that, right? And then the thing just went on, and I got an engagement watch, and then I'm probably buying a watch for my mom this Sunday as well. But all in all, I would say that I'm extremely grateful, very, very grateful to be in this position and to be in there. Hopefully, it gives more reason for me to enjoy the watch, and more reason for me to do this, and more reason for to put out more content.
More content for you guys.
Exactly.
But it's been crazy. I never thought it would be like that, right?
It's crazy. There's more than my whole watch collection. Journey.
Living in the Matrix.
It's crazy, right? I guess I chose the right pill, I guess. Man, it's just crazy. And I'm I don't know. I'm excited and at the same time worried about 2022. Okay, just cool down. Please cool down. Right.
Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, we can,
you know.
Right?
Yeah, as you already said, it's just
Yeah.
gonna hype up someone. So.
You know, speaking about that, it just triggered a thought in me as well about the fact that we all hang out like this, we do the podcast, we share content.
Yeah.
If we didn't do all this, I probably wouldn't have content to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, you can look at it the good and bad side.
Yeah, actually
but
it is.
am I happier about the whole hobby thing? I think yes, I would say yeah, and it does. You know, we do share the content with the wider audience as well. So I think if you ask me, so overall it's a very good experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, as long as we are all spending within our means.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So.
And put it this way, right? It's something I thought about as well, right? You can say another benefit of all this hype, it, at least for me, right? My personal experience, it removes the hesitation for me to buy a watch because I know the fallback of it is I will just sell, right? I mean, to me, it's like, oh, I can't view the watch, it's limited, buy first, think later. So it depends how you look at it, it's good or bad. The good of it is, as a financial standpoint of it, you do gain in this aspect.
Yeah.
It's like, alright,
Only if
But,
the watch
but
is
yeah,
popular,
only if the
popular.
watch is hyped though.
Yeah.
I mean, like not all watches are like that.
true,
Right?
true. But I mean, like because I mean, put it the other way around, right? The non-hype watches
Yeah.
will not
Yeah.
create any urgency for you to buy it anyways, right?
That's true.
Yeah, because any other watch you put in a risk, the next day the price is basically deteriorates the day two onwards. Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's just very hard to resist if you think about it, right? Once you're in the know and you're in the capability to buy, right? This market just feeds itself.
Yeah.
You know which ones are going to be hype, and therefore if you snap on that very quickly, right? You know you're going to be okay value retention wise as well,
Short term.
and short term.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel that the hype's not going to go, because in
Yeah.
that sense, more and more people are getting more informed on things
Exactly,
like this,
right.
and therefore it's just going to
Yeah.
create that cycle for a
Yeah,
while more to come.
yeah.
So I think you're absolutely right. You know, it's like by being a bit more FOMO, you actually will pick the ones that will kind of retain its value anyway, so you can't really make that so-called mistake.
Yeah.
As long as you
No
make the
risk.
decision quick enough, meaning
Yeah.
like you try it and it's like, okay, maybe I made a mistake, so
Yeah.
I move it on, right? But you have the means to do it, so and the knowledge to do it as well. Like if you tell someone who's not in the watch space like we are, right, and you say like, you know, I can pay like a Rolex, I can get it, let's say 20,000. Should I buy it? I'm like, idiot, go and buy it.
Yeah, and then and I guess in today's world with all the technology and all the information we have readily available at our fingertips, it doesn't take a new I don't want to say hobbies, but anyone who wants to know about all these things, desktop research like half a day they know
they
what's
figure
hot,
out-
what's not hot,
Yeah,
and they can just do the same decision, right?
Yeah.
So
It
it's
becomes a case of-
it's
or whether
increased
you-
competition for us.
Correct.
And these people, you know, if we want to be sour about it, we're like, it's not fair to people like us who like the true-
Appreciate it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yes.
you know, then again, it's an ecosystem.
It happens. It's not just the watch industry. Right? I mean,
Sneakers.
yeah, anyone. I mean, to me, that's why I never blame grey dealers so on, because you are only making a living, right?
Yeah,
To me, it's like
It's an
if you
opportunity.
see there's some way to make money and it's legal and everything, to them is why wouldn't I do it?
Yeah,
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. That's why I've always hit more at the brand itself.
Yeah.
I've never really attacked the grey sellers, because to me it's like you're a part of the market that the demand and supply is created. So
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
really blame you for it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, and I'm very selective of who I pick even as companies, because if you look at it as publicly listed companies, you cannot help it. But if you're a foundation-owned company,
Yeah.
right, it's a very different dynamic that's actually possible there, lah. But again, idealistic thinking, lah. But yeah.
So Rolex, AP, Patek.
Rolex, AP, Patek, family owned, you know, these are the ones that, and they are flush, right? So these are the ones that can set the stage to ride the market. And I'm kind of hoping against hope that they will, because that sends the right signal to the rest of the world. But
Do you think it'll happen?
no, Patek just proved me that it won't. So
Yeah.
that's why I've accepted that 2022 is going to be yet another very, very hot year for
Like,
watches.
guys, prove Woody wrong, guys.
Yeah, and that's also partially why I feel like I want to make a slow exit out, because I want to be able to enjoy this without feeling angry with the industry.
Yeah.
Because it's brought me a lot of joy. You know, met you guys. You know, we get to talk
Yeah.
about it and all of that, right? But it's ultimately we do this because it's fun.
Yes.
And so I want to find a way to keep finding fun in this, right? Even if it means that I slow down on what I can acquire.
Yeah.
Although having said that, I've spotted something else now.
Yeah, I think what you mentioned is actually very very relevant, because I've known two friends that just recently told me it's like I'm in a watch fatigue right now, because they have heavy hitting pieces and so on, but they feel that they are being put in a position that in a way they are forced to continue chasing things like that, and they could not keep up with it, and they feel extremely tired and so on, and they feel that they have in a way being dragged in a place that they are no longer able to enjoy the watch, right? So what that guy did, he actually turned off social media. He closed all his heavy hitting pieces. He just grabbed his Seiko and his Apple Watch, and then he just take some time off, and it's just like, all right, why do I buy watches in the first place, right? And then it actually helped him to really sort of relocate that joy of watch collecting, right?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, interesting time ahead.
So what's in it for you all in 2022 though? What are you looking for? What is there something you're eyeing?
Yes. Immediately I openly say this, right? I'm the two watch, I mean the one watch that I'm very hoping to get. Yeah. Okay, two. Wait. Okay, hold on. the sub, the 124060. That's something that I hopefully, if I think I played my cards right with some purchase I did this year, and hopefully it's enough. And if it's not, I can conclude in 2022 that the game is non-playable, it's rigged. If it is, then I will share, I will openly share what is my journey to finally acquire a professional Rolex pieces.
So either way you will share it?
Yes,
correct.
Right. If it doesn't, I will share what I was told, what I was being informed on how the game works and what it doesn't work for me and so on. And bear in mind, the purchase I've made is very significant, right?
Transaction values in total is very significant.
And
are you at all worried about losing your, let's say, perks if you share it with the world? And
no, I mean, to me it's like I always say that if I were to choose one Rolex that I can get, and that will be the only one,
so
it will be the 124060, not the Daytona, not the Pepsi or anything.
Alright, fair enough. Okay.
So if I'm not going to say the place, the name or everything, I'm not going to say that. So if they're going to ban me for that, then ban me, I guess.
I don't think they should, because I think it's almost an open secret already at the moment. So,
I just want to see whether it works.
So that's one. You said two, then three.
So the second, since as part of the Chrono contributor for 2022, I am hoping they release the chronograph again, right? The third iteration of it, and that will be in my buy for sure. And I would have, that is a complete Chrono collection that I would have. The classic, the Grand Series, and the chronograph. That is a nice collection to have, right?
So the Ming is last year or this year?
Last year.
I mean, this year.
Oh yeah, this year, sorry. Yeah, the Ming is this year,
okay, so
right? That's fine, right? And
Yeah.
the third one that I will also hoping it will come, it's the Snoopy, right? The Snoopy which I've played the deposit since last 2020 October, and hopefully it comes next year. And that will be a piece to show off.
I did walk into the Omega boutique and asked about it, and apparently they said that you need to have a historical purchase of like how much was it, like 100 or 150,000 with Omega, and then
at the boutique itself.
At the boutique, must be from boutique, and then you will be shortlisted.
I actually have a friend that did not spend that amount. He got it.
Oh.
But
from the boutique.
From the boutique, right? So he made a good case for it. He showed the social media and everything.
I see.
And then his wife got him a Snoopy birthday cake. So it's the watch case and everything. Right. It looks super nice with the watch case, the Snoopy, and then the watch and everything. And he presented it like, hey, this is how much I want the watch, and they actually give it to him. So to me,
but that's an outlier, right?
But to me, I actually applaud what Omega is doing for this, because the entire journey for this. You have to go through a link. You have to fill this, like I mentioned, right, the questionnaire and everything. And you have to. They really.
Try and suss out whether you really
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not perfect. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's not perfect.
Yeah.
But they're doing something.
Yeah.
They're really
Yeah.
doing something to give this to the right person.
Yeah.
And I think going back to the story you said,
Yeah.
I think the greatest part of that is that it gives that person a story to tell.
Yeah.
And it's not just like, oh, I put my name on the wait list and
Yeah.
1 month later I got it. Right? So this is like really
Yeah.
a story that he can tell
Right.
whoever it is, the lucky person that's gonna
Yeah.
inherit it.
So,
moving forward.
to me, I really applaud Omega for that because they didn't have to. They didn't have to do it, right?
job, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. So if you want to offer like us 4 Omega Snoopy, sure,
Yeah.
we're more than happy to take it.
Or Rolex, if you want to take cues from Omega, we have stories.
Yeah. So I think that's the main tree. For that, the main tree is confirm buy if it happens, right? I would say, and then the maybe buy.
You mean the other 9?
Okay, the maybe buy was 2. I confirmed that's 2 maybe buys, right? This is me. This is me not knowing what other two-door releases and stuff. I think they come out with like a slim case GMT or Pelagos. I don't know what I'll do, but I will not think about it.
I know what you do.
But the other 2 maybes are the Defy Skeleton and this Cartier Santos in large. Right, so these 2 are the maybes.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I think that's it from now. Yeah.
It's a lot.
We'll see.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh, me,
For 2022.
The reversal, right? You know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
reversal, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. There's probably a new color coming next year.
I think it's safe to say that all of us who saw because none of us saw it in person before, right?
Yeah.
And when we saw it, I think we're safe to say that all of us are pretty stricken by how good it looks.
I actually didn't like it at first because I tried
you
the
tried
other
mine,
reverses.
yeah.
You're right. It's either too big
Or too fat.
or too small
Yeah. Right.
for me.
And then
This one I was thinking I don't wear formal anymore in my current shop, and then he said, "Why don't you try it?"
Yeah.
Oh no.
Tried it. I don't want to.
wait, this one, this exact one.
The green one.
The green one.
But it's exact the same dimensions. I don't want to remove it from your wrist. But I also tried the blue one, but it's a dual face.
Yeah, so it's better.
Yeah.
And I have to say, so I got mine from a AD rather than boutique, and I got a decent discount of it. And if the green was the same price, I would take the green a lot bit.
I think I would have done the same.
The green is.
I think I would have done the same.
Because the green is like, it fits in a way you can say a checklist in the box. I don't have a green.
Yeah,
my collection.
It's
Yeah.
another color, and I feel that
Yeah.
the way they've done the green is not so dressy either, so you
Yeah.
can dress down quite easily. So
Yeah, I mean, with the right light play, it can even look like sort of black, right?
Yeah, it can,
So
it can,
I mean, I'm thankfully not really into green dials, but I think that one was kind of an exception.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think that is all we have for today.
quite
And it's
long
been a very interesting 2021.
Yep.
Thank you for whoever's listening, and thank you for all your support. And we'll be back on 2021. 2022. Yes.
And make screws up our brain.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, stay tuned for more episodes then. And once again, take care, stay safe, and thank you.
Yeah, so you have 2 more weeks to purchase your watches before pretty much all the brands are going to have a price hike.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Merry Christmas.